Hi there. It's Tom and Tom, the podcasting machine, spanking out these podcasts one at a time, custom made, handcrafted. And today I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Tom, fill
Fortunately,
me
I
in.
do.
Thank God.
So next week I head to Germany, and then after Germany, I'm heading to London. So I thought it would be fun to introduce you, Tom, to an international story that I run across because I pay a little bit more attention, spend a fair amount of time in the UK each year. So I pay a fair amount of attention to some of their business and or political news just out of my own entertainment.
Uh-huh.
And there's a company in the UK called the Cooperative Group, or if you're in the UK, you know them just as the Co-op. And this was founded in 1844.
Which is near term for the British. But yeah, go ahead.
It's a young company.
Right.
They've grown to about 11 billion pounds in sales and annual sales. They have like 2,000 convenience stores and 800 funeral parlors and an insurance business and a legal business. And they are member owned, no shareholders, no stock price. And these folks literally wrote the original cooperative principles that the
Wow.
entire worldwide movement still follows.
Interesting.
So they created like the first set of values: openness, democracy, caring for others, that really helped create this whole co-op movement that's worldwide. Um, Needless to say, I'm bringing them up because the news isn't all good.
Uh-oh.
So we talk about mission, vision, and values, keeping these things in alignment. And we've talked a lot about, not a lot, but we've talked a couple times, and I think it'll come up a lot more about trying to and building a culture, recognizing that one bad hire can cause a lot of problems.
Yeah. More than you
And
could imagine.
in the case of the co-op, the people who literally created values as a basis upon which you build an organization,
The ones that are dead now, you mean?
they, they brought in a new CEO a couple of years back who had been
Oh,
their
okay.
CFO, and this the CEO had worked priorly at McDonald's, very top-down oriented, right, hierarchical structure organization. They'd worked at
Public.
IBM. They'd worked at the Caitlin Group. They'd worked as the COO of Lloyd's of London. These are all really top-down, hierarchical, traditional organizations.
Yeah.
They came in and were doing a fine job as CFO at the co-op, and the board therefore said, let's make them CEO.
Oops.
And what happened? Well, in
Let's
February of
pause for a moment before you get into what happened, because
what happened?
I would like
What
to
do you
point
think
out that
happened?
one of the things that I find interesting is looking at where CEOs came from within the organization, because you don't just go from being a frontline manager to CEO. You usually spend some time in the C-suite first, and where you were in the C-suite defines your context, if you will, for leadership. If you want your organization to do a lot of belt tightening and financial fiscal responsibility, and that's what you think you need, promote your CFO to be the CEO. If you want to expand into new markets or to build community or anything else besides finance, don't hire the CFO as your CEO. Now, Tell us what happened.
I won't overly name names because you can look it up. But this CEO, by the way, was born in Beirut to a Palestinian father and a Turkish mother, raised across cultures where authority, hierarchy, and deference carry different weight than they do in a British cooperative democracy. Like the challenge here runs deep, right? They spent time at McDonald's as in franchise operations, which talk about is just enforced top-down efficiency. It's like the career trajectory lets you in on the fact that there may be a cultural fit problem. The question is, maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe the co-op has what we call ceremonies or structures that would prevent a single leader from breaking the organization. But you and I both know actually that's really, really, really hard to do.
Yeah.
There's a reason you protect these senior positions the way that you do and how you hire for them when you're trying to maintain an intentional culture. So what happened? Well, in February of this year, so this is a current event. The BBC gets a letter from a large group of senior managers at the co-op, right?
A large
And
group.
the letter isn't signed. They're afraid to now put their names on things.
Wow.
They describe that the whole organization is overcome with a culture of fear and alienation
What
at the
a
executive level.
surprise.
And the senior staff are scared to raise concerns about the business decisions in front of leadership. And what does that mean? That means the CEO and whoever they've brought in as their yes people. And of course, then the news comes out, right? It's like, hey, we were a profitable organization. We're about to announce $126 million annual loss. We lost $285 million in sales in 2025 to a cyber attack. $107 million were lost in profits, $200 million in planned cost cuts. Job losses are not ruled out. And if you know anything about co-ops, it's like they also have that very traditional value of protecting the jobs,
Right.
which is not something you have if you came from McDonald's.
Well, and I would add, like, just to fill out that McDonald's scenario, McDonald's franchises are very often owned by wealthy individuals who are just looking to park their assets somewhere where they can get a nice return. It is a pure financial play, which is a little confusing because people look at a McDonald's and they go, oh, it's a restaurant. It's a restaurant for the people that work inside the building, but the people that work outside that building, it's a financial instrument.
Yep.
Plain and simple. Factory farms run efficiently, just maximizing cost per pound of food. And they get away, they skirt every regulation they can skirt, and they care little about anything but that one number. It's a financial play all the way down.
Yeah. And here, even in an organization that's member owned, isn't public, right? It's built on these core values. It's easy to think that you're still just a financial play all the way down.
Yeah.
And I won't even dig deeper into the nature of the cyber attacks. I'm more just interested in was bouncing this story off of you and getting your response. Because you've had this experience. It's in the book and it's a chapter, one of the chapters, one of the stories that we share. You've had the experience of a very good, stable, solid culture in, I believe it was a nonprofit.
Yes.
That, where one hire coming in messed it up for a ton of you who are working there who really liked the culture.
Yeah. Yeah. And it when you get somebody in senior leadership like that, who doesn't believe that the culture is important, then or if they think that the culture is wrong, they'll dismantle it.
Yeah.
And you and I, this is our life. We spend our time talking about how important culture is and how important it is to build a sustainable, reliable, scalable culture that makes people love coming to work, whether they own the place or not.
And
and
one of
if
the
you
things we
have
talk
that,
about,
and you think, and somebody comes along and thinks that it's wrong, you will not be happy for long. And in a co-op like that, I can only imagine, like, it doesn't just affect the people working there, because as soon as the people that work there lose faith, the customers lose faith too. It's no surprise that their business went sideways.
everyone loses faith, and big accidents begin to happen. And even you and I know cybersecurity, yes, it's a vulnerability and it could happen anywhere. But you and I also know there are often indicators of how they've made decisions that lead to those cybersecurity failures.
Right.
The interesting news is, just to round out the story, by March, came out late February, the BBC, by March 26th, I believe, the CEO resigned, unrelated to the toxic culture comments, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But this isn't a leadership failure, or this isn't a failure of just that one person. And I think it's really important. No. It's a failure in how the organization hired, and it's a failure in how the organization runs its most senior level meetings that you and I would prefer to be replaced with ceremony, with a structure about what you are allowed to say and how to overcome that fear. There are a lot of ways to overcome that problem in your startup and in your small business. You don't need to have this happen to you.
If you hire somebody at a senior level who didn't say somewhere in the interview, I absolutely love the culture here, you shouldn't hire them. If they don't love the culture you built, they're a misfit. By definition, you're hiring a misfit to run your company.
This is the company that basically, I'll just put this out. I don't know if it's true, but I'm going to say it anyway. They basically invented culture. As a guiding principle, they clearly chose to go a different way. 180-year-old member-owned cooperative built on democratic control, open dissent, and the principle that every member has an equal voice.
What happened there, by the way?
It can happen to you.
What happened there? Like, if indeed that was still true when they hired this person or these people, what happened to that culture who couldn't speak up, couldn't take control? They were owners.
Yeah.
And they couldn't stop these few powerful people from destroying their property.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting use case, because the moment they realized something smelled bad, they should have been up in arms about it. Or, I mean, it could be like boiling a frog. I use that analogy a lot. I think sometimes people don't jump as quickly as they should.
It's an organization that created the playbook every cooperative in the world still uses. Openness, democracy, honesty, caring for others.
Yeah.
These values weren't just on the wall, they were in their charter.
Right.
They theoretically were in their DNA.
Yeah.
And the culture at the top still became one where people were afraid to speak.
Here's an interesting thing. Another example that shows this was OpenAI. I think a lot of people that might listen to this podcast will be familiar with the incident where the board fired Sam Altman from OpenAI. And there were enough people who complained about that and said that that was a mistake that they brought him back. And it turned out that the people that complained and said he should be fired were probably right. But there was enough overwhelming support at that time for his leadership that they reversed their decision. And some people just left because they said, well, this is a mistake and I'm not going to participate in it. They turned out to be right. But it's such a different outcome than this, in that people spoke up and the board responded to that in reversing their decision. And some board members left over it too. I mean, it was a big split.
There was one final thing that relates to your story. It's like when the letter surfaced, the other leadership said they didn't believe it represented the broader organization. Yet a month later, the CEO is gone. The first response to a culture problem is always the same. Oh, no, that's not really happening. It's denial. Kudos for them. Good for them. The CEO is gone. See if they can heal the wounds that were created, and maybe see if they can, maybe they should read our book and look for some ways to ensure in the ceremonies running at the very top that openness, it becomes structurally built into how they run their top level meetings and events.
Right. Well, we have a lot of suggestions about how senior leadership should behave, what their roles should look like. And if you use that as a template for what you expect of senior leaders, somebody coming in like from McDonald's just wouldn't make it. They wouldn't get by the first gauntlet of questions that would determine whether they were a good cultural fit or not, because they would just, all those ideas would be foreign to them. They would be like, what? What? No, what? We're the servants? Hell no.
This person should not have been hired as CFO. I mean, it's easy to read this thing and go, oh, it was working while they were CFO. No, I guarantee you, in their role and in that organization, it was already breaking.
Right. And the weakened state that they found themselves in when they were promoted was undoubtedly already underway.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah. That's the story. I'll find maybe a German story while I'm in Germany next week.
You'll have to tell it in German. So
there's got to be a Siemens story in here somewhere.
Get learning. Ah, yes. I have worked with Germans before, and they are very fond of the German way of doing things.
We'll let you wind this up, Tom.
All righty. Another interesting chat. Compliments of Tom M. today. And we hope that you like these stories. If you do, drop us a comment and let us know, because this is how we hear from you, is in the comments below. And we'd love for you to like our videos. That tells us something. We'd love to see that. And most importantly of all, please, while you're down there, click that subscribe button, because not only do you get notified when we make these great videos, but other people will start to see them too if you show some interest. And as always, we would love to hear from you directly. You can reach us through our website at beintentional.biz. And until next time, this is Tom.
And Tom.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.